Here comes the video.
All right.
Welcome,
40
welcome.
Mike. How you doing tonight, man?
Doing all right, just dealing with that sudden surge of COVID that hit us this summer.
Oh, man, I got
It
caught up
seems
in
like it
that.
just whacked everybody. Got the went the same way that it went last time. The wife got it, then the baby gets it, and then I get it.
Oh,
Because there's just no avoiding.
right. But you're here. You're empowered. Everything else is going good. Good stuff, man.
And then I was at the VA yesterday. Had an appointment over there. Follow up at dental, and they finally have a doc that's gonna set me up with the remaining steps and procedures for my implants. So I
Nice,
will be chompers. Because
nice,
right
man.
now,
Nice. That has
for
to
the
feel
last
good.
for the last year, I've had just 4 screws in the bottom of my jaw. So it'll be nice to have
Oh,
some actual, chewing devices there.
I'm sure, man. I mean, how do you? I mean, that's key. That's key. So good stuff.
Absolutely. How was your
So what we got going on? Oh, pretty good, pretty good. It was really a privilege and honor. Yesterday, I got to speak at the Veterans War Memorial in Brockton, Massachusetts, at their Purple Heart ceremony. We got Michelle Baxter checking in, someone from Kick. Michelle, how's it going? Good to see you.
welcome?
So it's all good,
And
Mikey.
you have a link here that I'm copying. I'm gonna throw in the chat here of that.
Yeah,
Boom.
yeah. I kind of wanted to, talk about this with you, man. I mean, it's something else. That's my
Absolutely.
YouTube speech right there. That was that link right there. But let me see here, Michael Geary. So here's the tale to tape. This story is out of where is this? Oh, I don't want that link. WHMI 93.5.
Is this Veteran Service Dogs Kurt Learn? That one?
Out of Howell, Minnesota, or Michigan. Sorry. 52-year-old Kirk Lanham, the founder of Veteran Service Dogs organization in the Osala Township, he is accused of misleading volunteers, donors, clients, and media about his military service record, amongst other things. And they started investigating him, and they found out that, he was in the Air Force. and he was like saying he
Hmm.
was some kind of special operations whamma jamma slamma, and in reality he only served for like 2 years and didn't do anything. And then he used his nonprofit to take money and you know basically lie to people about what he's doing. And it just I just want to get your take, man, because you have a service dog. You feel very strongly about service dogs. But also, I mean, what's going to happen if, like, some attorney general, district attorney, or prosecutor decides to get motivated one of these times and really go after looking at what nonprofits do?
So like the big thing is, first and foremost, guys and girls just need to be proud of the service that they accomplished, that they did, and that they had. We're already a small percentage of people that serve. We're already a small percentage that that can call ourselves veterans. People need to be proud of that first and foremost. And the whole, chopping each other down, you're not, cool guy because you didn't have this tab, or you didn't go to this school, you didn't go on this deployment, or you didn't go to this war. It's even happening right now with the candidates, talking shit because, this guy did this guy didn't do this, You got one guy's a CSM and one guy's a corporal, they're both served, they're both veterans, they should both just be proud of that. We don't need to be chopping each other down. We need to support our community.
Well, I mean, we can get into that next week with the politics and everything, but this is just, I don't know, man. This really bothered me. A stolen, right up there, I look at stolen valor the same way I look at people, especially veterans who steal from other veterans. Um,
Yes. Awful.
like that. To me, you're not worthy to be called a veteran. You revoke all your rights and privileges as being a veteran if you're going to do that, right? And you hit it right on the head, man. Just tell people, hey, I only served 2 years. I was an admin clerk. Or, hey, all I did was, hand out gear and supply and make sure we had everything we needed. You don't have to embellish your record, man. I mean, you served. And we should just respect that. And then I really like the fact that some of these people, man, are getting really good at finding out who's real and who's not. I mean, I was very impressed. Like when they started getting red flags, people went to work and found this out. It was really kind of cool how it happened. But Mike, again, it puts people in a bad light. And like, what if a veteran out there needed a service dog, right? And now can't get one because people don't want to support other service dog organizations. That's got to be hard.
It does. It gives a bad name to everybody, and it's the domino effect will happen because now they see this happens here. Now people are gonna have it in the back of their mind that hey, is this happening elsewhere?
Right, right. And so, hey, if another veterans organization that's, working hard, crushing it, trying to do good things needs support, that support could be impacted as well. It's something else.
And, it's just like I said, it starts with being proud of the service that you have, and the guys out there working and creating a difference in people's lives with service dogs, and then goes and f's up all that good work just to to have a couple of cool guy points. It's like to feel better when he's drinking a beer with his buddies. It's like I don't understand what the need for the stolen valor is.
Well, and plus, I mean, how do you do that? Like, you didn't do this stuff. You know yourself you didn't do this stuff, but you're gonna go down as if you actually did, and you're gonna deny the truth. And when it's put in front of you, then you have to admit it. That's some real, like, chutzpah, some balls of a different kind, if I may.
Yeah. I know we had guys, that went on tour with us that, were telling tall tales of, shooting a guy off a bridge with a 9 millimeter and, going into Baghdad, by themselves in a Humvee all alone, doing this, that, and another thing. And like, you know, wind up telling all these tall tales, and in the end, he got exposed by Turtle Boy. Wound up doing a 6-page article on the guy because all the stuff that he was telling, the tall tales, the Gold Star mothers that he was lying to, all of this stuff, and it's like
Oh,
you're going to get caught. When you embellish the stuff, when you claim to be a special operator, that's an even smaller, tight knit community than the veteran community itself.
right,
It's
right.
one thing to be in our community, but when you go, special operations, they've got some good, gatekeepers over there in that community to make sure that the people that have earned that, have the ability to, proudly wear it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's just really something else to see. And it's like, I just think it's maybe it's just me, but I think a correction's coming. I think there's going to be a time where somebody, the last veterans organization that I remember getting really like raked over the coals in a good way was Wounded Warrior Project.
Mm-hmm.
And, they took a lot of money from people. People found out they weren't spending the money on the veterans. People got upset. I think it was the Colorado Attorney General decided to go after them. Because they're based out of Colorado, right? I think
Yep.
they are. No, wait a minute. No. They had a junket in Colorado. Wounded Warrior Project. Just let me confirm that real quick.
They're probably out of Texas like everything else.
At this point, everything's going to Texas. Let's see here.
Actually, I think Warner is out of Jacksonville. I want to say, if my
Yeah, I think
little
what it
nugget.
was, I think the final straw was they did a junket in Colorado. It was like a retreat, and they got
Mm-hmm.
that's when it's like, wait a minute. Oh, you're right. It's Jacksonville, Florida.
Hey,
But
Jimmy.
what I'm Jimmy James, how's it going? Um, yeah, it was the big retreat slash leadership conference that was a final straw because they found out they had taken like $500,000 and blew it in like a week. It was for 30 people. Like, what are we doing here? But I just think that whether you're a big organization or small organization, you still have the responsibility to meet your mission parameters. And so
I think
Kirk
the
is a
big service organizations also need to have a deep dive into that. I think your DAVs, your legions and VFWs need to really take a look at what they're doing, and start foregoing some of this traditional stuff, and get back to helping vets, because when I go to some of these places, all I'm seeing is a bar being run, and then these same guys that all go out to the conferences, you know they travel to a certain place in the states. They all go out there, they party for 2 or 3 days, and then they come back, and nothing's getting passed down to the veterans in the community. So it's I don't know if it's really worth it for them to host these big conferences for people to go to, when you can get the same thing done on a Zoom call.
well. It's interesting you bring it up. I talked to a Vietnam era veteran who is very well known. And I asked him, I said, hey, this would be tailor made for like the VFW or American Legion to get behind you. And he told me, he's like, I'm going to tell you something about the VFW and American Legion. He's like, they're very good at what they do. And yes, they go in front of Congress and the president to be heard. Absolutely. But he's like, if you look at how they're structured, they only take care of themselves. Everything they do is to take care of the org first. They're very rarely going to help veterans. And I thought about it. And then to your point, I know they just had a big national conference. And I'm like, that's weird. The only time they really reach out to me is to make sure I'm paying my dues or, can I give them more money? They never ask me what's going on or how am I doing as a veteran. They really don't. They really don't. And then here's the other thing I was going to ask you, Mike. It seems to me you have like the state organizations that do their thing, and then at the local level, you can kind of do whatever you want. No one's really, like, to your point, saying, let's look at your books and see where the money's going. It's just what seems what's happening.
You know, it does. A lot of you know a lot of it is you're keeping track of your own stuff, and if nobody's raising a red flag, then nothing's being challenged and nothing's being changed. I mean, I've gone into posts that are literally selling cigarettes behind the bar, and that's a federal offense. You got ATF for that. You cannot be selling Lucy's or packs behind the bar at a club that's supposed to be there to help support veterans and whatever they're going through, and instead you've turned it literally into a bar and easy access for booze and cigarettes, and it's disgusting.
Kive, Kives from Kick is saying, watching Sean run, you come to realize what are we doing here is the most common question in the military. Jeremy Daniel says, I'm one of the service members that Wounded Warrior program, Independence program follows. I never heard of the Independence program, Jeremy. I'll have to look at that. And Barry's checking in. So good show tonight, guys.
Absolutely. And the big thing is like they spend all this money on these big functions, and like I said, a Zoom call could facilitate a lot of the same things, and like we have these monthly meetings at the organization, and there's only 5 or 6 guys are showing up, 2 guys show up, not enough to even have a quorum half the time, and so it's like you see that these legacy organizations, they're very trying to protect themselves. Another thing the VFW did, they tried to go after a veteran with a sign. The Marine that holds the
Yeah.
cardboard signs. So he
Yep.
was holding us. He does a thing where an organization that helps people with their claims, for a fee, will go up there and help you write your next letter. We'll help you get everything set up to do your VA disability claim and get it done right. And the VFW tried calling them a shark and tried saying that they were screwing over veterans, and they were like they went after a veteran with a sign for it, and the guys in DC were going right after this veteran, attacking the veteran instead of saying, hey, are you being screwed over? What's happening with you? What's your experience with this organization? They just went for the attack because it wasn't them. And it's like, again, like you said, they're looking out for the organization first.
Which is really weird, but I thought about it. I can't remember the last time I saw a VFW I take that back. The only one that I know that does it for a fact is the post Bill Moore has out there in Worcester. You see them out in the community doing stuff, and I think that's by design. But I've seen other VFWs, and not just in Massachusetts, who take your money, take your dues money, and you never hear from them again. And it's the same 3 to 4 people running the entire show. And when you ask to see what the money's doing, or show me your 990, it gets very weird real quick. And I just think somebody's going to get motivated on the law enforcement side and say, you know what, I want to take a look. And I understand that. I understand that going after veterans organizations isn't really politically a good idea, but if there's smoke there's fire. And how long was this Kirk Lennon guy doing this in Michigan without anybody finding out? The Brave Act and the Guard Act both have. What's she talking about? Hey, Charlie, how's it going? What's the Brave Act, Charlie? I'm gonna figure that out. So what's going on in
I know
health?
the North Attleboro VFW. I joined recently. Craig from New Englanders Helping Out Veterans. He's now the commander there, and they're working on trying to reestablish their post, try to get veterans first again. They're trying to put out programs, try to have events monthly, try to have a packed act social so that people can understand the different things that are out there. They're trying to host more functions for veterans, whether it's a cornhole night, whether it's just different events to be open and make the post more lively and engaging with the community.
Right. Right.
And and Hellfish, last couple of weeks I've been falling in with this organization here. I don't know if you can see, Warrior Gamer Foundation.
Oh yeah.
I'm part of their peer-to-peer team, and what they do is they have on Discord. If you're in a crisis or you're having a hard time with something, and you need another vet to talk to, you just submit a ticket, and there's 12 to 15 of us right now that will get notified, and whoever's available will jump on there and chat with you, walk you through whatever situation you're dealing with, to make sure you're able to get to the resources that you need, or to get the help that you need if we're not able to provide it.
Oh man, that's awesome, dude.
So it's a way to be able to put that peer support into work where people are, because not always are people going to be able to come into the physical location. So we want to be able to go out there and have people be online, and that's where a lot of gamers are, is on Discord. So right there on the server, they're able to go check in, drop a note, and we can communicate with them that way.
That's cool. That's cool. Let's see here. Well, Charlie's dropping some freaking truth, dude. One allows sharks to do claims, one makes it illegal. Both have.
Oh, she's talking about
Yeah.
have people take money for doing your claims.
Well, I thought that, to her point, I thought that was officially like illegal now. I thought you could not, as a provider, take a veteran's money or make them pay you to do their work. But I guess you can.
You can, but you can only take I think there's only a certain amount, and it has to be. You can't take a percentage, like 10% for the rest of their life. You like, you give me $1,000, and I'll get this set up for you, and you're good to go, and there you go. Service done and accomplished. Like getting a lawyer to represent you for something.
But can you imagine if some poor guy or woman gives somebody the power to take 10, 20% of their, uh, you know, comp and pension, you know, and let's just say you're getting, I don't know, 100%. That's $300 right now. That's like it'd be, what is it, like $3,700 at 100% now, or $3,600? Let's just call it
Yep.
37 to be. So I mean, you're talking, if they say, hey, we want 20% for life, man, that's almost 8,000 a year coming out of your pocket that you could be using to help yourself, your family, whatever. And again, that to me is robbing from veterans. Yeah, thanks, Charlie. I didn't quite have the exact number, and I think it got changed here recently. So I don't know, man. I mean, I just think a correction's coming. I think, like we you and I talked about the Michael Dare situation down at the Providence VA, where he was, charging people to, quote, process their claim and get to the front of the line, and took those people's money. We got to police our own, man. And when something doesn't smell right, you can't be afraid to say, hey, that's not right. I'm going to check this out. That's just, I think what happened in Michigan's regrettable, but I also think it's good. Like, to your point, if you're going to use stolen valor, you're going to get found out, and we're overdue for this.
I do. I feel like there's a lot that goes unchecked. What is it? What's the saying about unchecked power? Corrupts absolutely, or something like that. Where absolute
Let's
power
see here.
corrupts
Power
absolutely.
power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
And I think that's what's gone on. Is there's oversight, but there isn't. You know, it's like, you know, the Pentagon has failed every single one of their, you know,
Audits.
audits, and yet we just keep writing them checks. And, you know, it's the same thing. You know, that, you know, in turn goes to the, you know, how people operate things with the VA, and that goes in turn how people operate with the service orgs. And it's like, at the local level is the best place where you can get service and you can, you know, get genuine help. You know, when you're dealing with people in your community, when you're dealing with people, you know, at the Boston office, you know, when you're dealing with people you can actually talk to. But once it gets past that, I feel like you kind of get lost, you know, to get a hold of somebody in national, to get a hold of, you know, somebody to make a decision to make further change, you know, unless you're, you know, one of these people that, you know, go to all these meetings and go to all these conventions and have all these pins on your hat. Like, I feel like you don't really have a voice. And like, even if you try to, like, you know, run for, you know, a seat, if you were trying to be like a junior vice for like the state, and you know you have, you know, you're not one of the good old boys, people will actually get mad at you at a convention for running. You know, and it's
Oh,
like,
well,
it's
right.
not your turn, and it's, you know, it's this guy's turn. He's done his time. It's like, there's no done your time. It's like, you know, you run for office because you want to help people. You do this, and you sit in the chairs of these organizations because you have the knowledge and you have the ability to. And it's just, you know, you look at the way that it is, and the pictures at the end of all these conferences, and it's, you know, a bunch of old white guys.
Well, you know, certain states have a bunch of other ethnic groups in there too.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely who you know. It's definitely we're not going to give it to the go getters. There's a pecking order, and you know it's something else. Can't be here to make friends. Here to fight for vets. Absolutely. Jimmy says he had a lawyer for 5 to 6 years working on his benefits and retirement. They dropped him and walked with 40,000. I've been out since 2012 and still waiting on for a decision. Man, that's just it.
Ugh.
Just really grinds my gears when other people, and like Ukraine, I have a real big problem with this. We gave all this money to Ukraine, but we're stagnating over here, man. I mean, what about taking care of us versus somebody else? I just don't get it.
And there are a lot of, you know, a lot of changes too are coming with these, you know, the VA ratings and everything too. Like, a lot's changing with, you know, with the way that, you know, things are written and the way that things are, you know, described. They really want people to, you know, apply properly, and like, they're trying to make sure that people aren't, you know, gaming the system. You know, I'm sure there is, you know, some folks that are out there that do game the system and are taking advantage of it, but I'd like to think for the most part that, I'd say hopefully, you know, 80 to 90% of the veterans who, you know, have claims, you know, have them because they need them.
Right, right, absolutely. Um, Barry asks, have you guys heard about Project 2025 for vets? I haven't really looked into that, Barry. I don't know what that is, to tell you the truth. So, Mike, have you heard of it?
I have not. The only thing I, you know, heard of 2025 is that they were trying to, you know, switch out civil service jobs with, you know, appointed positions and things like that. But hold on, I got a client. Can I go check on one second? Hi.
Oh, yeah, Charlie. When I went to the Massachusetts Veteran Service Officer Association, that's a big push. And they were very clear about that. If you, as a VSO, or like a Massachusetts VSO or a county VSO in other states, are not accredited, you better not be, you know, processing claims, because you could get yourself into trouble and you could really impact the veteran you're trying to help. And I think that's good. I mean, how many veterans have been messed over by people who don't know what they're doing, providing false information? And once you sign that document about your claim, that can be, depending on how it goes, it can go to court. So it has to be right. It has to be right. So I kind of like this direction, and you know, well, I haven't had the Social Security question posed to me yet, Barry. But I do have questions about my claim and what they said and how they rated it. But I'm going to avoid SS and keep the cotton pin fight going. We'll see how that goes.
And, the other thing too is I know that with the service dogs and everything, that they do have it set up so that way you can have it. The VA actually take care of it now through. I believe you go through. Um, like prosthetics and things like that.
Yeah,
They're the ones that are able to recommend getting a service dog and how to pay for things like that. So there's actually programs that are actually going to be taking care of veterinary costs and things like that in the future for people with service dogs because they've seen how much it is a help to wrap back to where we started at.
nice, 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 nice.
And the little
Well,
one is saying hi. She just so.
I think this is awesome. Get them while they're young, Mikey.
Absolutely.
What else is going on for Hellfish Haven?
There is the Specialist Cleaning Foundation 14th annual motorcycle run on the 24th coming up. We are going to have a one of those arcade basketball things where you go against the other person and you try to shoot hoops as much as you can. Whoever scores
Right,
more wins. We got one of those that's going to be at that. We got ladder golf, the little the balls and the three rungs.
oh yeah,
We got the little beanbag toss, tic tac toe for kids to play. We got some just different outdoor games to try to add some more things to our repertoire, as well as a little mini arcade game for folks to be able to come to over to our table and play and check out what we got. And we also have Judy First Design. I've been working with Pat from the DAV. Judy First Design Apparel. We're working, making T-shirts and things like that. Screen printing, and coming up with some designs. Putting females first on there for some of the apparel because there really isn't female veteran products. Everything that you see out there has got a veteran man on it, a veteran a guy silhouette. So we want to make sure that that our ladies are represented, and then we also wanted to just be able to control our own stuff instead of sending it out to China to have our design stolen and come back 3 to 6
right.
weeks later.
Oh, for sure, man, for sure. It's a big deal. It's always cool when you can support veteran-owned businesses and then veteran-owned businesses who, you know, create, make, and produce right here in America. Is huge. Well, awesome, awesome. I got Oscar Mike Radio coming up. I got Ryan Pavel from U.S. Marine Corps veteran from the Warrior Scholar Project, and he's going to be talking about veterans like me who are questioning whether or not it's a good idea to go back to college and how all that works and why
Now,
veterans.
would you go back now because Massachusetts will give you free community college?
I don't know, Mike. It's like, what do I get at this point in my career? Getting the is why do I really want to go through all that? And the reason I say that is I know people, 40 and over who go back to school, and it's a 6 to 10 year slog where they're every night, weekend, holiday, they're doing schoolwork, and it's hard for me to quantify the return on investment and the time investment at this point in my life. I think it'd be a good thing for me to do. I think I'm always about education, but also it's like there's a very real. It's not just the money. it's the other costs that people don't really talk about that you got to think about. So that's where I'm at right now. It's more of a philosophical slash, what do I really want out of this? And Ryan and I talk about that, and it was a really insightful conversation.
Heck yeah, I look forward to it. So 8 o'clock. That's gonna be on YouTube, Spotify,
Everywhere, yep.
Facebook, and anywhere that you can catch Oscar Mike Radio. You'll be able to check that out tonight at 8 o'clock. Travis is always live in the comments to chat with everybody. If you have any questions during the show, he's always available.
Well, it's always good, and we're going into some good times here, and I have a good time coming on W.A.R, and a lot of people do too. Thanks everybody for checking in. But it's years flying by. I can't believe we're almost halfway through August already.
Absolutely. I mean, what is it? The season changes in September.
Yeah.
So, all right, but thank everybody for joining us tonight. Our little special co-host tonight, Emily here, and
I think that's great.
You wave bye to everybody.
Hi.
Thank you, Emily. You're the best.
All right, and with that, make sure you guys check out Oscar Mike Radio. Make sure you guys come out to the Special Splendy Foundation 14th motorcycle run in Taunton at 772 MP Company on the 24th. I'll have more information next week as that comes closer. Look forward to talking to you guys more next week. And we are W.A.R.